Hi everyone. Today is New Year's Eve, and I'm working on a dish for New Year's Eve dinner tonight for myself and Jingwen. Um, and so I wanted to kind of show everyone how that creative process sort of works for me when it comes to thinking up and designing a plate, even at home, not just at like work in a restaurant or anything like that. But um, so tonight, what I'm going to be making, I'm working on some risotto and a chasu Japanese style pork belly for tonight. Um, I've got a few things going on with it where um, the pork belly itself is uh, something that Jingwen and I really only met because of a pork belly dish that I was doing at the Treasury. So it's kind of a fun, important dish to me because of that. And so I'm going to be doing it again for tonight. Not the same dish, but kind of a variation that I've done once before at home for some friends. Um, and the risotto cake. I just said I was doing risotto, but I'm making risotto cakes, which um, are you make risotto and you let it cool down. Risotto is very shapeable when it's in a cold state, kind of like Play-Doh almost. And you just kind of flatten it into little pancakes. I first learned how to do this when I was working at Spezia. It was a technique, I guess, that I learned from Frank when I was working there. So I thank him for kind of showing me how to do that because it's a fun little thing. And I don't think I've ever met anyone that doesn't love them. But I'm doing a little bit of a twist on it for this one that I've not done before. I've been trying to think in my own head a lot lately about like I see all these different chefs on like Netflix and doing a lot of these different shows where they're featured and talking about their story as a chef. And one of the things that always strikes me is the chefs that use their own life story as an influence for their cooking and treat their food as more a way of telling a story than just feeding people. And it's something that I've been really interested in and actually really struggling with that idea of what that is for me. And one of the dishes that I keep going back to is something that I grew up eating at my grandma's on Saturdays, and I eventually started making it for myself. And I haven't had it for a really long time now, but I've been trying to think of ways to incorporate that into an actual dish and take something that was really just kind of a really cheap, poor dish and turn it into something that is not that and has some technique and has some elevation to it, I guess. And so as that dish that I grew up eating was minute rice with milk and cinnamon and sugar on it, and it took 3 minutes to make, or whatever it is that minute rice, I guess a minute to make. And you eat it like cereal, and it's something that is very nostalgic to me, and it's a really important dish to me because it reminds me of my grandmother and growing up and spending those Saturdays with her. And so it's one that is something that I've been wanting to try and recreate in some fashion, it's kind of hard because it's basically like a cereal version of rice milk, I guess, that you could get at like, we've had it here in Tallahassee at a Venezuelan restaurant that does arepas. And we got it one time, not really thinking about what it was. And I tasted it. I'm like, oh my God, this is what I grew up eating, but it's a drink. And so it was really interesting to me. But um, so what I'm doing with this risotto, because risotto is rice with cheese, so that it's kind of the rice and the milk there. Um, and I don't want to just do like, cinnamon and sugar on risotto because that might be okay, but for something as rich as Japanese chasu pork belly, it's that I don't really want to do that. But I was sitting there thinking, how can I incorporate these different things together? And for some reason, it hadn't occurred to me before, of five spice. And so five spice, one of the five spices in it is cinnamon, along with clove and star anise and a couple other things. And so it has a very sweet, savory taste about it that I'm using that to recreate that cinnamon effect. So what I'm doing here, or about to start doing, is trying to draw out and kind of conceptualize what this dish might look like, and take something that's in my head right now and try and give at least a two-dimensional form to it. This is something that I like doing, I enjoy doing it, but it's something that I've never actually seen anyone else doing, like a video demonstration of or anything like that, even though I know I'm not the only person that does this. So yeah, I guess the first thing that I'm going to be doing, I guess, is this risotto cake, which just going to do a normal little pancake with it. And on top of that, I'm going to have this pork belly. Normally, chasu pork belly is done. It's a braised pork belly. Typically, at least every time I've ever seen it, the way that it's done is it's rolled into itself, kind of like a pancetta might be, where it's rolled into a log. And so you cut it into slices and you get this really cool marble layered effect of fat meat. That's not what mine's going to look like because I don't have a whole slab of pork belly to be working with like that. The stuff that I have is from Costco, and they pre-cut it into thick slices. So basically I'm planning on just doing like a little shingle out with slices. I'm also, I like doing shiitake mushrooms with this kind of stuff. When I've done it once before, I'm pretty sure I did the shiitakes with it, and it's really nice. So I'm going to have some shiitakes in here. And I like having color, and right now I haven't added any color into this, but I know from what I'm doing into it, this is all brown, and I want some color. Green beans and pork go really well. If they were more readily available, I would love to be doing garlic stems, which are Shang Wen's favorite food. She loves them, and they're really, really hard to find down here. I think we've been able to find them once, and my plate is a circle. around the cake and the pork belly, I'm going to be taking the braising liquid from doing the pork belly that is amazingly delicious. I've turned it into ramen broth before, but it's basically just a Japanese au jus at this point, pork au jus, and I'm thinking to reduce that down a little bit so it's not quite so watery, and put that around the bottom. So basically what this is going to end up looking like, or at least if everything in my head goes according to plan, which doesn't always. Sometimes the food doesn't want to behave like it does behave in your head, and things change. So that's something you have to deal with. The first thing, though, we've got the, that's not the right color I want. This is like a green color. I need something more, a rich dark brown. That might work. So we've got our sauce. And this is going to be a pretty, not clear in that it's like a clear color. It's going to be very brown. The chassu pork belly is braised in a mixture of mirin, which is a Chinese cooking wine, sake, soy sauce, sugar, and a little bit of salt and some onions. I'm taking a little bit of credit from, or guidance, I guess, from a blog for this, because I've done it before, but I couldn't remember exactly what my own recipe was, from a blog, Asian Cooking Mom. And she is not using red onions in hers. She was just doing white, or the whites of the scallion. I've always done it with red onions as well, and so I'm doing red onions in mine. Let's see, this is kind of risotto colored, so that's actually perfect. We'll have our little risotto cake. These are done in the same style as a pancake, like I said. So you form them into a little circle and sear them with some butter or oil. The way that we did them at Spezia that I really enjoy is crusting them in Parmesan and then searing them like that. It gives them a really nice crustiness to them, which adds another depth of flavor and is just pretty delicious. These usually get kind of a nice golden brown on top of them, which is what I'm trying to do here with my fancy markers. realizing the color I chose for my sauce is not quite as dark as what this stuff is actually going to be, so I'm just making it a little darker so that I can have something that more closely resembles what is in my head. Got my shiitake mushrooms right here. So like I was saying, so far this is a really brown dish, and then on top of that, that pork belly is going to turn really brown from the soy sauce and the braising juice. But one thing that is really fun about this stuff, and is the part that Zhang Wen loves the most, is that this pork belly is not simply just braised. When it is done and you take it out and you get your slices, you take a torch and you caramelize the fat, causing it to get all crispy and golden brown. That's not the color I want. These markers are, there's a lot of them in here and they're kind of brand new, so I'm not as familiar with what color is what, but trying to figure it out here. So that's just me trying to show the layers of the pork belly, because like I said, you're going to have the fat and the meat in there, so it's going to be a little bit of layered. It's green beans. I'm going to be doing these right here, and that immediately gave it some color that it much needed. The other thing I'm going to be doing on this, just because why not, and to give it a little bit more color, is putting some green onion over top. I've cooked the risotto with some green onion in it, and the whites of the scallion are in the broth, so it's a little bit of a garnish there. My plate is whatever color this is. I like using these plates. I actually got them from Spezia at one point because we had too many, and they were not, or not too many, we only had 2 of them left in the restaurant. And so we were throwing them out, and I decided that if they were going to be thrown out, I was just going to take them anyway. And they have turned out to be really nice for plating things on, because they're really big, have a nice short, shallow lip, and they work really well for things like pasta or with more thicker sauces, a little bit more consistency to them rather than just water. But this is a really, really bad scribble drawing of this picture that's in my head. And I'll be showing you guys, everyone who's interested, in what that actual process looks like later, and showing off what this meal actually ends up looking like. So thank you. I'm also, I think at this point, a few people have seen it, but this is something that I'm looking to eventually progress these skills that I do have. And one of the big things that's going to be happening here in 2023 is I'm going back to school. We went a couple weeks back, a little bit before Christmas, to go and visit the campus of the Culinary Institute of America that is in Hyde Park, about an hour north of New York City, upstate New York. And I'm going to be going there to study culinary science. Really excited about it because it is the top school in the U.S. for culinary science, one of the top schools in the world for culinary arts. And it's just very exciting. The fun thing about that, it's a 3-year program. The thing about it, I was actually told that because of my work experience, I've been doing this for a little over 10 years now, maybe 11 years now, I guess, that I could opt to do what they were calling the turbo option, basically an expedited program degree, and I could get in and out, and I think it was like 2 years or something like that. Maybe it was a year and a half. Or I could do the normal option. It's a 3-year program. And one of the things that they do is they have an externship program. They work with over 2,000 locations worldwide, Michelin star restaurants, worldwide corporate food leaders, you name it, anything that does food, they work with. And you go and do a semester with one of these companies, restaurants. You work with them for a semester, and you get to go and you work at these cool places, or one place that you pick. Most of the people that do this walk out of their degree. They graduate with their degree, already having a job with the company or location that they've decided to do their externship with. One of the first time I had kind of become aware of CIA was through the chef and owner of Alania in Chicago, Grant Achatz, who, when I first heard of him, he was an instant inspiration to me with the just craziness of his food. He is an alumni of there. He is one of the only 3 Michelin star chefs in the country. If you don't quite know what that means, 3 Michelin stars is the highest award that you can get for the Michelin Award. And unlike something like the James Beard Award, it is given to you. You do not apply for it. So that means that he's consistently putting out this amazing food. He's not only is he an alumni, but his right-hand man is also an alumni and became acquainted with him through this externship program that CIA does. Anthony Bourdain is also an alumni of CIA New York. So that's really cool to be walking around thinking of the fact that these celebrity chefs, I guess, that I've always kind of aspired to be like and learn to be more talented like they are. They also went to this school walked through these halls, and it's very interesting and inspirational to go and walk around this place and know that I'm going to have the opportunity to get the same kind of education and further the experience that they did as well, and maybe go on to be just as good, or maybe surpass them, hopefully. And I am needing a little bit of help with the tuition to get there. This year, 2022, has been kind of rough for myself and Jingwen. We were in a car accident back in July that totaled my vehicle, and we had just moved into our new home at that time, and have been missing a lot of work because of it. I'm currently off work on leave because of some of the issues that I was having as a result of that car accident. So it's really tough right now. So I am looking for help. I've shared, and I will be sharing again, the link to this fundraising campaign that I've started, and any donations are more than appreciated, or if you just want to support me otherwise, with your words, encouragement, anything, it's all very much appreciated. And I'm so thankful to have people that are so supportive of me and encouraging for this new step in my life. So thank you all, and I'll be showing how this dish goes on when it's done, I guess. So thank you.